What's going on, everybody? Mark here, and we've got another state of the game, and boy, was it a doozy. At points, it was laughable. At points, it was sad. And the overall majority of people believed that all it did was incite anger in the player base, because while we did get somewhat of an apology from one of the creators, the overall sentiment is that this is how it's supposed to be. So I thought today I would address some of the things that they talked about. First off, the M1A Nerf is going to be reversed. Cool. All right. What we learned about the M1A Nerf today, straight out of their own mouth, is that it's so easy to basically nerf one individual item from the toolkit rather than improve the toolkit altogether. So basically, they're telling me they're lazy. Is that what I want to hear? Is that what anybody wants to hear? That they're lazy? No. And that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, so you're telling me that it's just simply faster and easier to nerf one item than it is to dynamically look at and increase stat-wise, everything? Yeah, I get that part. That's a huge job, but that's also your job, not you band-aid a situation so that 3 months from now we still have the exact same situation, just, one of the weapons of our toolkit is basically useless, aka assault rifles. So they increased our assault rifle damage to health, and originally I was thinking like, well, maybe the purpose of the assault rifle, if the player is running assault rifle, their idea should be target those red bars, watch for non-armored, keep that as your secondary, run an LMG as your primary for your armor break. And then once the armor breaks, flip over to your secondary assault rifle and you annihilate them. But guys, it's still not enough. And besides the fact that basically their armor to health ratio is like 80-20 right now. Like, their armor bars are so freaking large. Meanwhile, once their armor breaks, they die almost instantly anyway. So what are we doing with assault rifles? Because technically speaking, I just continue using my LMG. And that's exactly what I've done. The M1A build went to the garbage can, and the straight LMG build just came to the front. Because, guys, you can't break. There was always a cool thing that I like to remember, is that you've got a child, or a cool analogy, I should say. There's a child playing in the playpen. He's playing with the blocks, but you want him to play with the train set. Well, you don't come in and break the blocks or take the blocks away from him to get him to play with the train set. You make the train set more appealing. And I don't know why, but Massive just cannot get this. They are terrible at this. And I don't know, here we are, a year in, a full year in, and we're going backwards. And I learned yesterday that the whole reason why we may be going backwards is because, and this is what people are saying, that Warlords of New York was built on an older code of the game, and that's why we have all these tremendous bugs that we had previously that had previously been fixed. Massive got in their head that They need to shift things around that the game wasn't going according to plan, or at least maybe wasn't making money. So many of the original developers are now working on other projects, and they've brought new people in, especially working on Warlords of New York. All right, so we have fresh people building the experience for us now. I mean, where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with a new experience that's broken yet again. And somewhat of a level of incompetency, because I don't think for a second that they would intentionally just say, we don't want the M1A, nerf it 40%. And I don't think there's any malice there that that they're intentionally just, throwing out there at us. So I don't know. It's what I'm looking for is entertaining content. And I felt before Warlords of New York, that's all we were lacking was new narrative content. The raid that they keep spouting off about was still supposed to be in year one, and we still don't have it. So what's happening there? Originally, it was like, well, we're still working on it. We want to make sure everything was perfect. That was December. We're now 4 months past December. Coronavirus is running rampant, and now what? We're in the dark, and gentlemen, that was an excuse that they used. That the 40% nerf to the M1A came from the fact that you've got so many guys just working at home. Okay, I mean, lots and lots of people are working from home right now, but they still seem to do a pretty decent job at their job. So, whatever, guys. I'm not gonna buy that at one point, because basically the whole world runs on computers. You're telling me that that a $1 billion company couldn't set y'all up at the house building the game the way y'all need it to be built when it's in their best interest to do so? That's a bit weak. So take that somewhere else. But what I would like to leave y'all with is, basically just, you don't have to want these things. It's just what I think would be interesting and challenging to the game. And like I said, you don't have to like what I like. I don't expect anybody to like exactly what I like. I do, on the other hand, understand that if we keep going at this rate, that we're not going to have a player base before the next raid comes out. We're going to have the few hardcore guys hanging around, just like in the Division 1, where you go from 500,000 players to maybe 65, 70,000 players across multiple platforms. So I don't know where that's going to leave us. I know that getting a matchmaking group is getting harder and harder to do, and getting a competent matchmaking heroic group is, I would hate to say it this way, but it's getting almost impossible. So without further ado, this is just a list of things that I would like to see. I want the AI to be better, an intelligent flank. Maybe the AI can push your position in a more methodical way, where they value their own life while pushing your position, not just they're super overpowered, and if you poke your head out while they're running at you, you instantly get melted. I want armor to be meaningful. The big thing about armor is, I want to say it was in Division 1, we had resistance to armor. You know what I mean? It had resistance to it. So I don't understand. All they've got to do is say, okay, so with each blue that you have, you get 5% damage resistance to ballistic resistances. Because right now, there's no good way to get hazard explosive. Like, you have to give up so much to get so little that, I mean, that is what's making us feel like we don't matter. Like, we're just, we just get by. And I mean, I really feel that's the reason why our toolkit being messed with is the wrong move currently, without there being a huge buff to other things or a huge nerf to other things. It's just, I mean, NPCs are running amok. Like, I definitely want to see the NPCs being able to, spam their abilities. I definitely want that going away. Along with the explosive damage that some of these NPCs can produce. I mean, we're talking about multiple grenades being launched at once, it seems like. Or, in the case of the Black Tusk, almost everybody runs a grenade launcher. They really, or maybe they just need to look at the group makeup, where you don't need 3 grenadiers spawning at once, all of them, elites, that can literally triple tap on their grenade launcher. Like, I get the grenade launcher can triple tap, but if that was our grenade launcher, you'd have a single shot that does a tremendous amount of damage that takes forever to reload, and then you'd have a 6-count grenade launcher that does splash damage that's hard as hell to kill in with anything. I mean, that's what they do to us. But NPCs don't get the same treatment. So I get it, it's artificial difficulty. They've got to do something with the suppression mechanic. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Like, I'm spamming, you're just laying on the trigger with a giant LMG M60, and the enemy's just like, meh, I'll turn my SMG sideways so I can get that extra accuracy, and I will 4-shot you. Bam, bam, you dead. That's what it feels like. In my head, that's what plays through my head. Moving right along, though, the excessively high armor, especially on your heavies, like, if the dude is toting a shield and a nail gun, that's retarded, first off, that he should be able to do any type of just crazy super damage. But on top of his super damage, he also does a bleed. Come on, guys. There's better than that. The NPC armor should be the exact same thing as our armor, if that's how you want to play it, where those NPCs with those giant shields should be doing very little damage. Their whole deal is to push you with that shield, same as us. The rogue agents, that was a big step. I mean, rogue agents are using all their stuff, their entire toolkit, almost at once. On top of that, they've got high armor, high weapon damage, and their skills will nuke you. And people are like, well, we don't understand why people don't like that. The rogue agents are what we were a month ago. Like, why don't people like that? It's like, that's because people can look at it and realize that's bogus. I mean, you've got these NPC, like, they've got 100% blind fire accuracy. They did nerf the damage to our skills, but skills are in such a bad spot. I mean, we now have 3 skills that don't really work anymore. I mean, what the crap? I mean, you're like, well, I thought we were behind that. Meanwhile, the enemy skills work just fine. I mean, you got RC cars that inflict fire and explosive damage. You've got a turret that spits tar at you that has this huge area of effect that hits your cover, and then even though it's holding you in place, it forces you to stand up in cover. I mean, stuff like that. That's not challenging. That's frustrating. Having the ability to take away our cover is one thing. You've got this guy that has a turret. The turret does extreme amounts of damage, most of them at long range. And then he also totes a shotgun that can 3-shot you. And that he can just spam shots 300 rounds a second, seems like. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the archetypes need to be looked at. There's no reason for a medic to be able to heal up everybody and overheal them and put out tremendous amounts of damage. Engineers, same situation. They should not be able to put out a turret and do tremendous damage. You should have rushers that have short range, high damage. Your assault guys are going to be, your middle of the road, and then your heavies should be the guys sitting at the back, pushing up slowly. Also, guys, I don't know what you consider slowing down sprinting speed on the heavies, but I'm going to need a percent value on that because what I saw today firsthand was that if you want to say what they were sprinting at, Monday was 100%, they're sprinting at 95%. They still sprint directly on top of you. Flip that around, you've got to do something with the flamethrowers. It seems like you over-nerfed the smaller guys, the small flamethrowers, but your tank flamethrowers are like a laser beam that has 0 fall off and immediately kills you. You lap 700,000 damage is like 3 seconds of fire. You don't even realize you're being hit because the beam hasn't made it to you yet, and you're already dead. And guys, I know this is running super long, so I'm just going to cut it off there. Like I said, you don't have to want what I want. It's just cool, It's just cool things that I think of during the day. But without a doubt, I'm going to leave you with this. Please, Massive, do something about the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers throw with NFL quarterback accuracy. Everybody has a story that they can tell you of how they watched a grenade ricochet off this or that, shoots through a car window. There's always something. Today I saw a Grenadier, the tank, mind you, with the flamethrower. He threw 3 grenades at me. And they do this. That's just part of their little situation. Threw 3 grenades. All 3 of them landed at my cover. All 3 of them. So if I rolled left, rolled right, or backwards, I died. So what did I do? I died, or at least went down. But whatever. That's just what I've come to expect. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'm out.